right, guys. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. And we have today myself here and Jesus, to present to you guys the 8 growth tips for your RPA business. Okay, so the idea is that we go a little bit on this topic and show you how to leverage your business with automation services. Okay. Presenting myself here, my name is Thiago Carlucci. I'm the head of global campaign marketing for ElectroNeek. And joining me, we have Jesus Malo, campaign marketing specialist for North America.
Nice to meet you all.
All right, it's a pleasure to have you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and start our material here. Okay. So talking a little bit about ElectroNeek. Yeah, who is ElectroNeek? ElectroNeek is a vendor of RPA. So we are a platform in digital automation that is focused on the growth of your business. Okay, so we go way beyond being just a vendor of software. We are much more like a business consultancy, and by chance we happen to sell software. What that means is that we are much more focused on your business growth instead of just selling you a piece of software. Okay, so you will see a little bit later in the presentation that it goes much beyond the software. All right, so the agenda here, 8 top tips to leverage your business with RPA, a little bit of our success stories, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. All right, let me go ahead and let's run that first poll, Jesus, with the participants that we have. Just a quick poll for you guys, a quick question. What do you want to learn more about today, right? Are you looking into automating work for your clients, your customers, meaning your end customers, or are you aiming to automate work for your own business? Yeah, so go ahead and answer that quickly, and we get started. Okay, give you a couple of seconds to do that. All right. Okay, I guess we can roll on then. So here we go. 8 top tips. Tip number 1. I'm going to go through them quickly here, and then we take a deep dive into all of them. All right. So tip number 1: focus on small and medium businesses, the SMB market. Tip number 2: offer automation services and grow with recurring revenue. Tip number 3: be strategic in development. Help the client with the process. Start small and expand within the client. Protect and license your intellectual property. Structure your marketing approach. Use value-based pricing models and work with business partners, not only software vendors. All right. So starting with tip number 1, focus on the small and medium business market. So what we see, guys, is that by 2030, 90% of companies will buy automation services. RPA is going to be a $60 billion market. So we are only scratching the surface so far. This is going to grow exponentially moving forward. And a recent research from Xerox found that 80% of SMB owners want to implement automation in their business in the very near future. So we see a very, very big SMB market with potential to implement automation in the coming months and years. So it's a huge opportunity given the fact that the SMBs are a blue ocean with increasing demand for automation, and that SMBs have a smaller organizational structure. This is quite important, actually. So it's much easier to navigate and approve projects inside SMBs. Yeah, when you go to the enterprise market, the enterprise market is very heavy budget, it's very heavy structure. It's difficult to navigate inside that organizational structure and approve projects. So again, blue ocean strategy here, SMB market, increasing demand, not so much competition yet, as many MSPs are still focused on enterprise. So this is tip number 1. Moving along, tip number 2: offer automation services and grow with recurring revenue. So a couple of questions here. Why automation? Automation is one of the biggest trends now in the tech market, right? I mean, maintaining competitive advantage or even survival, honestly, is a challenge nowadays, especially with this turbulent economic time. So automation plays a key role in cost reduction, efficiency gains, and scalability. So this is a #1 trend in the tech market today. And then why services, right? I mean, clients out there, they don't want to have to focus on things that are not their core business. They want to focus on their core business. They don't want to mess with a bunch of different softwares and so on that they have no expertise on. And they want to avoid general expenses. So in general, they would much rather hire a service than actually implement automation themselves. They don't have the expertise for that. So that's why we say turn your business into a SaaS company, right? And grow with recurring revenue. So automation as a service, and then RPA as a service specifically. This is tip #2 for your, if you're a managed service provider or an IT service provider, this is the #1 trend in the tech market today. This is something you cannot miss out on, all right? Tip #3, very important in the automation business, be strategic in development, help the client with the process. So what does this mean, right? You have to investigate the reasons for implementing automation. So we usually say that the worst thing besides not automating is automating the wrong processes. That's like automating bad habits, right? If your process is unstructured or if it's a faulty process, if you automate that, it's the same as, again, automating bad habits. So this tip #3 is particularly important in that sense, right? You have to really invest some time in the discovery process of what you're going to automate, what the processes and the workflows and the repetitive tasks of that client is. So invest time in discovery, invest time in designing, right? It's important that you design all of the steps in detail, everything that needs to be included in that workflow or in that task that's going to be automated. Move on to development. The 4th step is even more crucial here. Test. A lot of testing before you go into implementation. Yeah, I think it's very important to emphasize that you should never implement automation prematurely. You have to make sure that everything is working smoothly before you actually go live. Okay, so tip #3 is that. Tip #4, start small and expand within the client. Yeah, so this is extremely interesting as well as a tip in the sense that if you're thinking of starting your RPA service business, it's always interesting to first work with your own client base, and then you can start automating small processes and you give that client a taste of that return on investment that he will have. And then consequently, you can upsell and upsell and upsell, right? I mean, you have adjacent processes around that first process that you've automated, around that task. You can start automating additional processes and additional tasks around that first one. And this gives you client stickiness in the sense that you can always upsell to that same client. And you have a pretty interesting cash flow, long-term sustainable recurring revenue, and a very positive cash flow. So again, don't be ambitious. Don't be overly ambitious in the beginning and try to start so big. Start small and work your way up into the client. Okay. Tip #5, super important as well. Protect and license your intellectual property. So why is this particularly important, right? In an automation service business or in an RPA service business, basically you're going to rent your bot to the client, right? The bot is yours. That's your intellectual property, and you're gonna rent that bot, right? You're gonna have a service offering, a subscription model. So that bot needs to be protected. That bot needs to be protected, and then you can license it out. You can rent it out in a subscription model. So ElectroNeek allows you to do that as well. And this is super important for a scalability purpose of RPA. Again, you are renting out that intellectual property. It's super important that you protect it. Okay, so that's tip #5. Tip #6, also crucial, structure your marketing approach. So what we have found is that our most successful clients, they have a pretty well structured marketing approach. Okay, So basically, the idea here that we share with you guys is that you should work on having a well-structured marketing approach with different collaterals, different channels. So websites, YouTube, blog posts, social media, eventually ebooks and podcasts, so that you can communicate that to the market, put that out there in different, again, in different channels, different kinds of campaigns for lead generation, right? So basically you have a form where the lead will fill out that form, and that information will come to you and eventually to an SDR, to a sales representative that will do the qualification call and separate just what are curious people from actual business opportunities, right? And then send that over to the sales department for negotiation. So it's, again, what we've found is that our most successful partners, they do have a well-structured marketing approach. So this is important for the business, and ElectroNeek helps you on the go-to-market strategy to develop all of these things, okay? So that's tip number 6. Here's an example of that. This is ElectroNeek's approach to market. So we have a very strong communication. We do a lot of Facebook, LinkedIn, we do Google, etc. So we have these campaigns running. We have the form fills, the different form landing pages with form fills. That information goes into our SDR team, and then the SDR team does the qualification call, separates what's good and what's bad, and then sends that over we have 2 types of leads. We have MSP leads, and we have end user leads, and then the end user leads we distribute to our MSP partners, okay? Moving on to tip number 7. So use value-based pricing models. So let me explain what is a value-based price. So you have here on this graphic here, you have annual process cost for the customer. So imagine that you're going to go into a customer and he wants to automate a workflow or process, and everything that goes into that process is what makes up the cost of that process, right? So without any automation, you have, let's say, 100% of the cost here, everything that goes in there. So you have computers, you have people, right? I don't know if it involves some kind of printed material. So you have the whole process there, the whole cost of that process. With automation, you can, this is the amount of money that you're saving, the amount of resources that you're saving for that customer, right? So this is the customer saving. With automation, the process cost reduces quite significantly. So what we see is that there is potential to price based on the savings that you generated. So the potential for bot pricing can be from 30 to 70% of that saving. So whatever you've saved for the customer, you can capture value out of that saving for your pricing model, okay? There is a caveat here, which is that it is very important to accurately calculate that saving, right? Because if you calculate that wrong, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So it's very important that you have a good calculation of the saving that you generated for the customer, okay? So use value-based pricing. This is tip number 7. Tip number 8, work with business partners, not just software vendors. So what we have seen a lot in the market is that the traditional vendors, basically, they sell you the software and they don't assist you very much on structuring your business, right? In the case of ElectroNeek, that's quite different. We have a 360-degree focus on your growth. So we have, in terms of products, we have what we call the MSP toolbox. We have the automation hub, protection and licensing. And then in service-wise, marketing and branding, as I said, we assist you on structuring your marketing, customer support, and partner success. So we have a bunch of different fronts where we assist you with the business, with structuring your business, okay? So tip number 8, don't work with just software vendors, work with partners that can really, that will focus on your business and help you grow, okay? And in that sense, we have ElectroNeek's platform. So all of those products and services are now distributed within these 3 hubs. Yeah, this is our product. So we have the automation hub, we have the business hub, and we have the service hub. So this is where you can develop, sell, and give support to your RPA business. Yeah. So a very comprehensive product approach to the platform that ElectroNeek has, where we encompass all the way from, again, from the automation development itself to business support and then customer support as after sales. Okay. A little bit of do's and don'ts of RPA. So what to do? Understand capabilities of RPA. Super important to understand what RPA can effectively do and not do. Have an automation strategy. So this is important. It's always important that you have a dedicated RPA business line. Yeah, I mean, you can. It's important that you have a dedicated website page, that you have dedicated marketing approach, and so on. Yeah, so have an automation strategy. That's important. Select the correct processes. So going back to the beginning, the worst thing is to automate faulty process. So make sure that you select the correct processes to automate within the client. Okay. Test, test, and test. Don't launch your product prematurely. Make sure that you test extensively before actually going on air. All right. And work with experts. You know, Google can answer many questions, but nothing like working with the experts that have experience in what they're doing. Okay. And what not to do, don't expect 100% automation. Not everything is able to be automated. So don't expect to automate 100%. Some things are not worth doing it. Don't automate everything at once. So again, it's important to start small, automate one process at a time and work your way up. Don't implement RPA on faulty processes, and don't apply RPA to unstructured processes. So these two go hand in hand. I mean, it's, again, don't automate bad habits, right? I mean, the worst thing is that you have a faulty process or a wrong process, and that's automated. You're going to be automating errors. So that's really important to avoid. And don't expect to implement and then forget about it. RPA and automation requires assistance, requires maintenance. That is where the subscription model comes in, because you can put that inside that monthly fee, that monthly value that you will charge from your customer. That maintenance and that support goes in there as well. Okay. Success stories. I invite you to go into our website and check out our success stories. There's a lot of things happening in the market today. We have a lot of customers, a lot of partners that are doing pretty well already, making a lot of money with our solution. So this is, I invite you guys. We have a lot of these success stories already published in the website. So I invite you all to go in there and check it out. A lot of good stories in there. Yeah, and happy automation. Automate you too, right? So I want to open here the session for a Q&A, for a quick Q&A session. Let's check out what we have. Jesus, do we have questions? How are we doing here?
Let's
Please
see.
replay. We will send the replay. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey guys, well, it's time to add any questions that you might have about RPA or automation. But if you don't have any questions as of now, you can also scan this QR code, where this code will actually drive you to a landing page that we can eventually schedule a demo call where we can guide you through the RPA. So we have a question here from David, Tiago. As a reseller, can I ask questions? Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. What is your question, David? Well, we do have the MSP toolbox with here at ElectroNeek, where we do provide you, depending on the plan that you select, we can dig in more detail with this with one of our customer success specialists or our account executives. But yeah, no, we definitely do provide you with marketing and with leads that would support your marketing efforts as well. So we do qualify it, as we stated on the presentation, we do qualify these leads so that they're basically your ideal customer persona.
So here we have another one. How does your solution handle dynamic forms when entering online form data? How does your solution handle dynamic forms when entering online form data? So Keith, this is a bit a more technical question. We do have our SEs, yeah, our solutions engineers that can help you with that. I will send this over to them and make sure that they get in touch with you so that we get these answers for you in the right way. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, we will pass that along to our solutions engineers, and we will definitely address that question, Keith.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everyone. So we'll give you a little bit of your time back today, and let's keep connected. And please scan this QR code here so that we can set up a meeting with every one of you. And we'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you. Happy automation.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.